Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to week number 9. So we got this week and next week, and that's it. So sit back, take a deep breath, and go, whew, it's this term, this class is almost over. No more videos from Tony after next week. I hope everyone had a great weekend. It's definitely springtime in the air. I live in Dallas, in the Dallas, Texas area, and this past weekend the weather was beautiful here. So it's definitely nice to get outside for once and enjoy nature. So this week we are going to continue the ethical framework. It's project week. If you haven't already read the instructions, you're basically developing the short paper that you wrote before, but you're developing it on 3 key items from the legal memo. So that's really what's going to happen this week. The other thing I really need you to work on, that way you don't get really behind the 8 ball, is to complete the Excel badge. It's officially due next week. It takes a lot of time. So please, if you get some free time this week, try to get as much of that behind you as possible. I think there's 3 or 4 of you that have it completed. I've graded it and given it back to you. So thanks for getting that out of the way as quickly as you did. But just try not to do that in the last hours of the course. Next week, as we prepare for the end, it's difficult for me to make extensions in time on next week because of when I have to have the final grades turned in. So if you're running into any situations, please feel free to kind of reach out to me ahead of time. As always, feel free to ask a question if you need anything. My other thing that I can't stress enough is make sure you're following the grading rubric. This class or any class, use that as your outline. As long as you're touching those items that's in that grading rubric, you'll always do fine on the assignments. Make sure you're following the APA format standards. It's got to have a cover page. Your sources have to be cited. If you're using a textbook, cite the textbook. If you're using a website, cite the website. The best resource I've found for APA formatting and citing is the Purdue OWL website. Has a great resource, as well as the SNHU Online Writing Center. Both of those have good resources. So feel free, if you have any questions, reach out to me on those. Some of you've lost several points just because you didn't cite, you didn't format. That sort of thing. I'm not too big of a stickler on it. However, I think you'll find as you go through your classes, you may have some instructors that, they may even just return your paper if it's not in the correct format or it's not cited properly. So please make sure you kind of pick up that habit. You think, well, I won't ever have to use that when I'm outside of school, but yeah. I even do it when I'm doing presentations. If I use a McKinsey study or I use a Booz Allen Hamilton study in a PowerPoint or something of that nature, I do reference that information. Same thing as if I use a scholarly article. If I've read something in the Harvard Business Review and I'm using it as part of a presentation, I'll definitely reference that. So don't forget to always cite your sources and give credit to the people that material definitely belongs to. I think you guys are doing a really good job with the legal and ethical. I watched the videos that was submitted, and everyone picked up on it. The one thing to remember about laws is usually the reason there's a law there is something bad happened, and Congress at some point had to say, okay, this is the restriction. Same thing with if you think about it from an accounting standpoint. You know. Uh, the reason we have specific ways we handle transactions is because normally something bad's happened. Somebody was harmed, somebody lost some money, and we go through and we set a standard up to prevent that. Same thing with the laws. We set laws up to prevent certain things. So a lot of times when you say something is in the law a certain way, it may trail several years, because if you do a law, think about how long it takes something to work its way through Congress, to become an actual, a real law that people have to follow. Same thing with accounting standards. If we want to change an accounting standard, I don't know if any of you or have any accounting experience at all. But there's a proposal, then there's responses, and there's debates. It's almost like trying to get something through Congress, except it's through, a kind of a somewhat of a self-governing body. But it takes nearly as long to get something through there as it would to get something through Congress. So laws normally trail, and you really need to lean more on the ethics. People need to do the right thing, and always do the right thing, no matter who's watching, who's looking. Always do the right thing. I can't stress that enough. And usually, where there's pressure or some sort of personal financial gain, that's when you find when some people might, try to cheat the system, do something a little differently to get a better result. So, those are areas that you always have to watch out for. I want to give a shout out to Chris Ree. He's one of your classmates. He reminded me of a great example in his video, and it's a show that I love to watch. It's part of the Breaking Bad series, but it's something called Better Call Saul. I'll put Saul's picture up as the mime for the week, but Chris summed it up very well. He goes, "You have Jimmy McGill, or Better Call, or Saul Goodman is his AKA name." Um, and Jimmy always wants to do the right for people. Always, his heart's in the right place, but the way he does it, it's always in a gray area. Whereas Jimmy has a brother that's an attorney, which is always very straight and very ethical, very legal, and it's a perfect example. So if any of you have watched the Better Call Saul series, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The actor there, Bob Odenkirk, he gives he does a fantastic job with that character. And if you haven't watched it, if you get a chance to watch it in the future, again, it's a spinoff of the Breaking Bad series. It's really good though, and it's quite comical. And you think about it, and you're going, I wonder how many times that really happens in real life. And I'd say it happens more than we realize. So, shout out to Chris. Thanks for reminding me, and also thanks for the laugh on that one. Hope you guys have a great week. We're almost near the end. Let's just knock these last 2 weeks out of the park and get you guys off to your next class. If you need me, I'm here. Thanks. Have a great week. Cheers, everybody. Goodbye.